Welcome everybody, Mike Metherell here for Traders Hideout, February 21st, 2013. Live trading session, tips and tricks. We're going to get started in just about a minute here. We'll give some people time to come in from YouTube, from Twitter, Facebook. And great evening to Grown. Grown, we're live.
Good evening. How are you, Mike? Fine. How are you, Mike? Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yeah, quite welcome. And we'll get going in just a second here. Well, just so you know, I wrote you something in the chat, so have a look at that. You might have to exit the chat, the room, and come back in. Okay, let's get started. For those of you who are new to YouTube or new to the channel and the way that we run things, if you want to join the conversation on YouTube, just right below the video, you can type in your message, and I'll try to answer your questions or request for, you know, having a look at some pairs. Obviously, the chat on the live session is also you can type in your questions there or your requests, and let's get started. And we'll start with the euro dollar. Bring up the 1 hour chart. Bring some more history. As you can see, we've had a fairly big dip in the past 2 days overall, and it's around 230 pips. That's quite a big drop. And the one thing that we need to remember, we're almost at the end of the week, so whatever trades that we make, we want to make sure that we're going to close them by the weekend, because we don't want to be susceptible to any risks that that we might have if we keep those positions open on the weekend, right? So we're going to be very cautious of the trades that we actually make today. And let's bring up the 15-minute chart. And Groen, you're welcome to also do a screen share so others can see you as well. You know, the screen.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's hard for people to follow me as well, so it might be easier for them to follow you.
Okay, Mike.
The one thing that we have here, we do have some sort of a base. Now we are near the S1. We're touching the S1 right now. And that's something that we need to be careful of, because if we get a next dip and we pass the S1, the probability of hitting the S2 are very high, also within this week. So the one thing that we could do is this. We could set up a sell order that if we pass the S1 line, you know, a few pips under that. Right now we're 33, 35 pips. You can see that right here, 38 pips away from the current level. This is a measurement tool that it tells us where we are in relevance to the current rate. So if the rate drops about 40 pips, we should be able to go until the weekend and add another 30 pips, or within a couple of days. But there's also a probability of hitting the R1 line, which is 35 pips. And it did touch the R1 line in the past day. Now, having a look at these rates and having a look at the volatility, the one thing that that I'm looking at is, should I even bother for 30 pips on an intraday, or is that not enough? And sometimes the best trade that you can make is not make a trade at all, and weighing the actual pips that we might be able to get versus the risk of losing and opening up possibly two positions, we're better off not to make a trade. Okay, so personally, I'm not making a trade. If you wish, you know, you could go do a little bit of the scalping for tomorrow morning on the downside, probably for the S1 when it goes down. You know, if we get 10 pips below the S1, you probably have a good possibility of making a few dollars on the downside. On the upside, I'd be very careful on making any long-term trades right now, because you can see the last 3 days have been just down. Okay, so that's for the euro dollar. Let's bring the Aussie dollar. And the Aussie dollar would probably be something a little more seesaw. And we're going to bring okay, the one thing that you can see is that we do have a fairly constant bottom here, constant top. It does look like we are starting to get a little bit of a saucer here. Okay, the one thing that I'd be very careful, again, this is a 4-hour chart. Let's bring up the 1 hour and see if we get some sort of yeah, we do have some sort of formation, bottom formation here for a saucer. Okay, there is good volatility. We got about 25 pips and 17 pips from current rate. So we got about 40 pips up and down, and right now it looks like we got, this is called a crunch triangle. And the reason why it's called a crunch triangle is because it's been going up and down, up and down, up and down, and you can see that the bars are getting smaller and smaller. And this means that we're getting very close to crunch time for deciding on a direction. So whatever direction the market may take, chances are the next move is going to be a fairly sustainable duration. Not necessarily 4 hours, but we could see a change in trend for the next week based on seeing this. We got about 120 pips here in the past 2 days, and it does seem like we got a bit of a bottom. We may see 35 or 40 pips up. I would want to probably create a buy right at this level, okay, around the 102.67, and for the scalp I would probably wait for it to hit the R1, which is around well, this would be an intraday 45 pips. That'd be a pretty good intraday trade, possibly tomorrow, but that's something that you might want to watch. Looking at this, I am going to make a trade for tomorrow for the upside. I'm going to keep it a very, very tight TPSL, because if it drops below this level right here, I want it to close out. So I'm going to create a buy. I could do a hedge, okay, but it does seem like there's a saucer supporting an upside. So my standard is 20,000 units, 20 lots, okay, and I'm going to do 30 pips for one reason only. When I do my 2-to-1 TPSL, I'm at 11 pips, and the 11 pips is good for me because when I hit 11 pips, I want it to get stopped. Okay. And let me just bring the portfolio screen here so you can see that again. Okay, for those of you who don't know, everything that I do is on a real trading account. Everything that you see is real money. My actual current capital is right here. Yesterday there were some losing trades, actually, so we went down about $200 overall. It's not a significant amount for this portfolio. This is my medium-sized portfolio. There's also a smaller size portfolio around 20,000, which is a scalping portfolio. Then I have a large portfolio which I don't share. But everything that we do in this session is based on the medium-sized portfolio, real money, real trades, no funny money. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to submit this. Okay, and there's our buy order. It got executed, and we're just going to let that be open. And I see that we have some requests on YouTube, so let me go there. Sorry, on Facebook. On YouTube we don't have requests. Okay, Kiwi dollar. Okay, buy request, Kiwi dollar. There you go, Glenn. Glenn was asking for an intraday until Friday close about the Kiwi dollar. So let's have a look at that. You always want to have a look at your larger time frames. If you're going to do an intraday, go into the one-day chart, see what that looks like. Okay, don't be afraid to measure it. Okay, use the measuring tool. You got a pip ruler right here at the top of the screen of the chart. Okay, pull that top part, and you got. It will tell you how many pips you got from where you want until where you want. So you got 226 pips here in the past week. Now, this is something you should always have a look at. The statistics are very, very useful on the platform. You can see that the average change is 62 pips a day, okay, which is pretty good. The spread is horrible, 7.7 pips, 8 pips, So now it's 6.5. It's a little bit better. 4.7. This might be a good time to get in. I'm actually going to do a quick trade based on 4.7. Hopefully I can get in on a buy. And still 4.7. There you go. I got in. And the reason why I did that is because I do see some sort of a correction coming here. Okay. And let's use that. Let's do the measurement. Okay. And looking at this, okay, I see around 75 pips. Now, that might be a lot. Let's bring it a little lower. Okay, right now we're right at this rate. We should be able to get a little bit of a bounce back around 40 pips plus. So having to pay 4 pips for 40 pips, I'm willing to do that. It's a lower risk. Okay, so there's my position. There's that buy Aussie dollar. Okay, I did that fairly quickly, and I see that the spread actually is low now. It's pretty good. And the reason why I went ahead with the buys is because you can see very in the past 20 days, 20 trading days, you can see a very distinct bottom right here. Okay, so chances of it going a lot lower is fairly low. You know, stats don't always add up, but right now statistics are on my side for an up movement of 30-40 pips. Okay, Semi is asking on YouTube, pound dollar. Let's bring up the pound dollar. And Semi, when you say what do you think about the GBP USD, in what time frame are you thinking of doing the trade? Okay, is that something for a scalp? Is that something for an intraday until the weekend? Having that information will help us analyze a little bit better. Let's bring up the chart for pound dollar, and we'll wait for Simi to give us a reply. And in the meantime, we're going to bring up the one-day chart, so no matter what, we'll see. As you can see, the pound dollar, the pound's been losing ground all week long, actually, across most of the currencies. We saw that yesterday as well. Right, Goran? We saw,
yep.
We saw that yesterday with the yen, right? When we did that exercise.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was losing on all sides. So. See, I didn't get an answer from you, so right now I'm going to assume that you're asking until the end of the week. So we're going to analyze this based on the 1-hour chart. Okay, but we do see a fairly big drop here on that. I'm not quite sure that we hit the bottom. I'm actually going to bring up. Let's bring up some more sample here. We're going to bring up 100 days. Okay. You can really see the pound being beat. It's being pounded. The pound is being pounded. 1,071 pips from the beginning of the year, from January 4th. Right from the beginning, 1,071 pips. You work out the math, that's a lot of pips. And I'm not quite sure that we saw the bottom yet. Now, we did see a fairly heavy pullback. The one thing I would tell Semi right now is, let's bring up the 1-hour chart, because having a look at these, okay, I call these leads, okay? When you do candlestick analysis, these leads, they're very helpful and to let you know whether things are going to bounce back up or go back down. And you can see that every time there was a lead, okay, most of the time it bounced back up and then it went down again. Okay, so it bounced back up and then went down again. Went down, bounced back up, okay, now it's going down again. It does seem that in the past 12 hours we've had a little bit of a bounce back. Let's see how many pips. Okay, don't be afraid to use that pip ruler. It's a great tool. Okay, 120 pips in the past 12 hours. That's a lot of pips. I'd actually be looking for a retrace to around this level right here. Let's see what's that in pips right here. So if we bring that right here, I'd be looking for around 50 pips. That's a fair bit. For a daily. Okay. All right. So until tomorrow. Well, here's the thing. Based on the one-day chart that we saw from the beginning of the year, I'm not quite sure that we saw the end of the trend. We did have a pullback right here of 10% just in the past 12 hours. I do think that right now there's going to be a drop. I'm actually going to be doing a sell, but I'm not doing it for a long term as a daily. I'm actually going to be doing it for the next probably until morning Greenwich Mean Time, because I think when the markets reopen in the morning, we're going to see a little bit of a drop. So, and chances are, at least I'm hoping to see this level right here, which is around 55 to 60 pips from where we are right now. And you can see that right now it's been stalling in the past 4 or 5 hours. Again, you know, it's evening time, so on and so forth. So you're not going to see that much action going on. So I'm going to do 20,000 units, but I'm actually going to do 2 trades. Okay, and I'm going to base my trades. And this is something that's unique. I think it's the first time I'm actually doing this on live sessions. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to set up 2 sell orders instead of doing 2 multi-exits, a multi-exit with 2 exits at the same rate. I'm actually going to set up 2 different limits. Each one has 1 exit. And the reason why I'd want to do that, because, well, I do want to give it some room to go back to this area right here, which is around 20 pips. So if I was to go for 50 pips, okay, sorry, wrong screen. If I was to give it 50 pips, my effective stop is 20 pips, which is where I want to give it room to move. So I'm actually going to do a submit plus on that. Okay, and there's my order right here. Okay, got accepted, pound dollar. Okay, 20,000 units. And the other one, I'm not going to give it too much room, but I do want to take profit faster and let the profit chaser start a lot sooner. I want it to kick in a lot sooner. So I'm going to go for something along the lines of 10 to 15 pips, and hopefully I'll catch a falling knife right here. If it happens, it might happen quickly, and that'd be a great way to scalp. So I'm setting this as a scalp that might turn out to be a longer term trade until tomorrow morning or afternoon, by the end of the closing of the market for sure. So that's the way that I'm setting things up prior to the weekend. Having said that, I think that you need to keep in mind, for those of you who scalp, and there's a lot of you on the platform who scalp, and I say this over and over and over again when I do the closed group sessions. If you haven't signed up for one, sign up for them. They're completely free. Just send an email to mike@traders-hideout.com. Tell me a little bit about your experience, and I'll see if I can get you into the proper group. Absolutely free for everybody that has a live trading account. And I say this time over and over again that when you scalp, you got to be able to prepare in your mindset that the scalp may turn out to be an intraday trade, maybe a day trade, but you do not want to stretch it into a swing trade. That's one of the no-nos. When you set something up in your trade plan, you set up a scalp, you got to understand that it might take a few hours to do it. If you saw that at the end of the day you're the wrong direction as well, just close it, take your losses, you know, unless you can really prove to yourself, okay, technically, not in your mind where you're just starting to tell yourself stories, well, yeah, it's going to go up, it's going to come back up. Don't do that. You're just going to end up losing more. when you get your, that's why you got to have your stops in place, right? So when you set up a scalp, do be prepared for it to become a longer term trade, but not over a day. That's very important. So on this one right here, I'm going to be doing 30 pips because I want the profit chaser to kick in a lot sooner, and my effective stop is 10%. Sorry, 10 pips, which is 33%, and that's fine because right now there's not too much going on, and I'd rather have it close it, getting stopped out if it passes this area right here. Okay, I don't want to give it too much room because if it goes up, I'd rather have it closed and not lose that much. Okay, so I'm going to do a submit on that, and there's all my trades right here. Okay, and we have another request. Aussie Swissy. Wow, that's an offset. We haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, the spread is not that bad. 6.7 on the spread. Pretty good spread for this time of day. Aussie Swissy for Frank. Frank was asking if he could keep an Aussie Swissy over the weekend. Well, the one thing that they need to remember on the weekend is that you generally do want to stay away from Aussie and Kiwi and Yen unless you know the weather pattern. I know it sounds really funny. We're talking about trading, and here we are, we're talking about weather. Have a look at on YouTube. Do a search on the Traders Hideout channel on closing trades for the weekend. And I do talk about a list that sort of a checklist that you need to go through in order to decide whether you should keep a trade open or closed. The Swissy is a fairly stable currency for the weekend. However, the Aussie can be very harmful to your portfolio if there's weather issues. You want to check the actual weather forecast to see if there's any storms coming in or anything like that, and that would be one of the things that I'd recommend for you to have a look at. With a Swissy, you're fairly safe. For example, if you were to do a Swissy pound, I would probably say it's a fairly stable trade that you can keep open over the weekend. But let's have a look at the technicals for the Aussie. Let's bring up the 1 hour chart, and we're going to do 2 more after that. We're going to call that a session. And let's bring up the 1 day chart. 1 day chart on the Aussie Swissy. Average bar is 70 pips. It's pretty good. Right now we're halfway. It does seem like there is a support right here for the last 3 days. Let's bring up the 1 hour chart, see if we can get some more support right there. It does seem that we do have a pretty stable low end right here.
Got a big pin bar there, Mike.
Sorry, say that again?
It's got quite a big pin bar there on the 1 hour chart. It's good, indicative of good support.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the bar sizes. The average bar change is 17 pips. The thing I don't like about this is the actual spread. It's going all over the place. It's between 5 and 8 pips. And if we were to draw sort of a range of what we could look at, it would only be right here, around 17 pips away. And the risk-reward ratio is not worth it. So, Frank, I would, it was Frank, right? Yeah, it was Frank. I would personally tend not to make this trade just because there's not too much juice in it. It's too volatile for the spread. It's just not worth it for the risk reward. Okay. And Ron, was there anything that you wanted to look at?
No, that's fine. You carry on, Mike.
Okay, and as always, Kiwi Aussie. Let's bring that up. Aussie Kiwi. There we go. Aussie Kiwi. It looks like a dentist's nightmare. That's what it looks like. It's all over the place. Let's bring up the one-day chart, see what that looks like. Overall trend, you can see that it's actually down. This is a very interesting area. You can see right here that we sort of had a low, it got hit, and then it bounced back up. So the forces at B for the past 2 weeks have been pretty much at this level where we're at right now. So I would not make any trades. This is for Russ. Okay. Sorry, Russ, nothing today. And let's have a look at the pound yen. That might be interesting. Pound yen. I would actually like to see a buy for us on the pound yen. I'm going to bring up the 1-hour chart. We do have a triangle here. On the 1-hour chart, let's bring our helper tool. Average bar at 33 pips. I hate the spread. 8.3 pips on the spread. So if you're going to do something, you either want to see a real spike or a longer term trade. I'd hate to just throw away at 8.3 pips. Let's bring our there's a lot of pips here. We could favor the yen in the next 8 hours and look for around probably around to this level right here prior to the weekend, which is 42 pips. 42 pips on 7 pips. I don't like the risk reward ratio. I ain't touching that. If it was more, I'd probably create a trade on that. And by the way, the yen for me over the weekend is the same thing as the Kiwi and the Aussie. I don't like to touch it too much. So not on that one. And we're going to take one more request. And that is the EuroCAD. EuroCAD 1-hour chart. Let's bring that up. Very solid bottom right here. Very solid support right here. In the past 12 hours, 8 hours, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 12 hours or so. Let's bring up the 1-day chart. See if we can pick up any. Nothing too major here either. Average daily bar 90 pips. bring up the 1 hour again, see what that looks like. And that is 20 pips average bar. The spread is not that bad on the EuroCAD. I would tend to favor currently the CAD over the Euro. And we should be able to see it around 32 pips here. 4.5 pips for 30 pips on the upside. I'm willing to do that, but I'd be putting a very, very sharp stop right here. Let's see what that looks like on our quick order. On the quick order, I want to do 20,000 units, and I'm going for 30 pips, and we'll see what the TPSL looks like. The effective stop on a 2-to-1 TPSL is 10.5 pips, which is 35%, and I'm okay with that because the 10 pips would give me this level right here, and that's the low it's been today. It's 11 pips, so I'm okay with that. So with the 4.5 pips on the down and 30 pips for the up, I'm okay with this. So I'm going to go ahead and create my buy order. I'm going to do a submit. Okay. Now we got one. There's our Aussie dollar. It's in the green. Finally, something in green. Some movement tonight. Generally, Thursday evenings are fairly slow, but that's when you generally get to see when the consolidation prior to the weekend, and you can get a good sense of the stance for the following week. So that is one of the reasons why I analyze it differently on a Thursday than I would on a Monday or Tuesday, for example. Okay, so those are trades for today. Just a quick note for we'll do some housekeeping here. If you're on the platform and you want to see when the next sessions are, okay, there's a lot of new users on the platform in the past few weeks. Just click on the class schedule, okay, and you can just click on next week, and you'll be able to see all the live sessions next week. Some of them are closed to special groups. Do notice that the live trading next week is at 11 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It's not at night. Okay, that's just next week. It's something that that I had to do. Normally it is at this time, but next week it's in the mornings. The rest of the sessions are pretty much the way that they're staying. Again, for those of you who have not signed up for the closed group session, where you actually get to do sessions with me one-on-one in small groups, and I sort of give you hints and pointers on how to trade better, and it's very much based on your trading style, and you sort of pick up tools. This is probably the closest you're going to get to one-on-one training with me, and it's absolutely free. So just send an email to either mike@traders-hideout.com or sessions@traders-hideout.com, and tell me a little bit about your experience, what your objectives are, and your trading style, and I'll put you in the proper group. And it's a great learning experience, and there's a lot of information that's going to be thrown at you that you're going to utilize it, and sort of take you by the hand and show you a few things that will help you trade a lot better, lose less. I always say that. You may not make money, but you're going to lose less, and that's a very important thing, because a lot of people get into Forex and they sort of lose a lot right off the bat. Just a quick note here on the Aussie dollar, we're very close to hitting our take profit. We're 6 pips away from take profit, 4 pips away, 3 pips away. Maybe we're going to see this thing go into the green. Let's just give it a second. Hitting the green means that we're actually set up. There you go. We actually are, we hit our limit on this trade right here. Okay, and if it turns yellow, we're going to get into the trailing stop, and if it turns to orange, that means that it actually it's going to the chaser mode, where it's actually just going to get closer and closer and closer to that new high. Okay, I'll keep this on here for a few minutes. We're 5 pips. Notice if you put your mouse over it, this is we're 4 pips away from the trail start. 2 pips away from trail start. There you go. Okay, and notice the color changes. Okay, so on yellow means that we're trailing. If we get into orange, means that we're actually going into a chaser mode, where we get closer and closer to that new top, and we start to maximize the profit. This is the only platform that you're going to find with the chaser. No other platform has a chaser. It's a super thing, super tool. It's absolutely free. It's inside the platform. Have a look on the YouTube videos. Do chaser. There's quite a few videos on that. It's a great opportunity to show it while we actually do a live session. It's a super thing. So it's nice to see that. So I'll keep that on a bit. Gron, did you want to add anything or ask anything?
No, I'm fine with that, Mike. Thanks.
Okay. Do you feel that the sessions that you're doing are helping you?
Well, I do. I mean, I haven't traded Forex for many years, and this is a total, reassessment of lack of skills in the first place. But it's certainly very helpful, and I hope it'll put me in good stead, really.
Yeah, great. So, I think that everybody should take this opportunity and, sign up for it. I mean, it's free. You should owe it to yourself and get some more information. You don't need to do anything extra. So I wish everybody a super weekend. May the profits be with you. This is Mike Miller for Traders Hideout. Bye for now.